all the way from Elkhart, Indiana. Let's give a big warm welcome to Andy Woodhull.
One more big round of applause for my new friends, Emma and Joey. Let's clap for them. Great. Nice to see you, Minneapolis. You feeling good? Did everyone make it to the fair today? Nobody did? I did. Why did I have to go and you guys didn't have to go? Everybody I talked to was like, you're crazy if you don't go while you're here. Do you know they got fried ranch dressing there? And so I went, so people would stop calling me crazy so I could experience fried ranch dressing. What are you doing with your intelligence? This is a smart town. Put your smarts towards other things. Cure diseases. Don't figure out how to fry ranch dressing. I never in my life was like, this ranch is good, but I wish it was crispy. Is there a way it could be crispy? One guy, as a selling point, said to me, it's awesome because you can dip it in ranch dressing. You are out of your mind, sir. You're gonna die any minute now. I went to the fair. What a good time. What a wild city this is. I've been to other fairs in other cities. I've seen a lot of things in my life. I've never seen all-you-can-drink milk for $3. I haven't seen all-you-can-drink milk for any price. For any price. I'm a competitive guy. I saw it, and I'm gonna see how far I can take this thing. I just sat there with my glass, drinking glass after glass of nice cold milk, right from some weird metal tube that looked like something Doc Brown rigged up. I didn't know if there's a cow on the other end of that thing, but the milk kept coming. It only takes 2 glasses till they start to worry about you. I'll tell you that. You sit through a second glass. Why would they? And then I saw a place that sells cookies by the bucket. Okay, I get it. I get why people need this amount of milk now. It's because your cookie serving sizes are too high. You should never have a bucket of cookies. I saw a couple just walking down the aisle there at the fair, 1 bucket of cookies between them, munching them like they were popcorn. This place is insane. I didn't really sit there and drink glass after glass of milk. I drank 1 glass of milk. I was like, that was a fun novelty. I like milk. And then I go to leave, and the guy goes, make sure you hold on to that cup. You can refill it. Who do you think that you're talking to right now? You think I'm gonna do a loop, play a few games, come back? I worked up a thirst over there on the tilt-a-whirl. Get me more milk now. It's all you can drink. I love to do a fun local activity. It's my favorite thing to do when I'm traveling. I love to do a fun local activity. I was in Philadelphia. Everybody I talked to kept telling me, you got to go to this Museum of Medical Oddities. Check out the Museum of Medical Oddities. So I went because I thought it would be funny. I thought it would be like a cute place, like a Ripley's, believe it or not, where the exhibits are things like, here's a tall guy, here's a little fella. And you go, oh, they're so different. But that's not what it was. The Museum of Medical Oddities, the exhibits were stuff like, this guy died from being constipated, and we removed his large intestine and put it in a jar. It's pretty big, huh? Every single exhibit is more disgusting than the one you saw before it. It's gross. And the grossest thing about it, it was busy. Why is it busy? Who are these freaks? How are there regulars here? How is someone coming in? Good to see you, Frank. How you doing? How's the wife? It costs $30 to get into this museum, and they said no photography while you're in there. I looked around for 10 seconds, and I thought, no photography? I don't want to have memories of what I saw today. It's a horrible place to be. It's not just gross, you also now have to worry about everything you saw happening to you. I didn't know most of these diseases existed, and now I'm having nightmares about them. No photography. but I saw more than one person with a pen and paper sketching things. I swear to you, more than one person heard no photography, and they're like, no photography in my foot. I'll draw it if I have to. Insane. There was a lady I saw, she was drawing a butt that had a horn growing out of it. That's what it was. It was just a butt that had been chopped off of a body. It was in a jar, and it had a horn growing out of it. And she was like, fascinating. I'm going to capture this. I saw it, and now every time I've gone to the bathroom for a year since, I'm like, okay, I'm good. No horns yet. She's sketching it. All I could think about was that poor guy and how he probably lived a life embarrassed of his butt horn, his little butt antler back there. He probably tried to hide it from people, and drilled holes in all the chairs in his home to accommodate it. Tried to keep it covered up so nobody's like, there's a butt unicorn, catch it. If you kill it, we can make a wish. Lived his whole life hiding it, and then he passes away, and he looks down at his funeral from heaven. I wonder what they're doing with my body. Oh, it's weird that they're removing my butt. I guess maybe it's because of the horn so it can fit in the casket easier. They should have drilled a hole like I did to all the chairs. I should have put something about that in my will. But wait, why do they put it in a jar, though? That doesn't make sense. They're taking it to a museum? Are you kidding me? They're taking it to a museum. People are paying $30 to look at that thing. Senior citizens and children only have to pay $15. That's an insult to my memory. Also, I would have lived a totally different life if I knew people would pay to look at that thing. I was hiding it. I worked as an accountant. I toiled away as an accountant. You're telling me people would have paid to look at my thing? I would have been doing bachelorette parties if I knew people would pay to look at it. You would have signed me up. All right, girls, here's the game. You get a ring on it, you're the next one to get married. Not you, Judy. Not you, Meredith. Oh, maybe it's you. I was in Oklahoma, and in Oklahoma, some people after the show, they said, hey, we work at the zoo, and if you'd like, we'll give you a behind-the-scenes tour of the zoo. And I said, yes, I would love a behind-the-scenes tour of the zoo. I've only seen the front of the scenes of the zoo up until now, and I'm not impressed. To be honest with you, the animals are cool, but they're not doing a lot of show stuff. I want to see some action. Get me behind the scenes. So I'm in the penguin exhibit, and they're very cute. And then the penguin lady, she says, watch out. I think that one's about to bite you. And I said, I wish he would. I wish a penguin would try to start something right now. I feel a little squirrely. I could use some action, and I don't think there's a lot of animals in the zoo I could win in a fight against. But all the flightless birds are on my list. I would ruin a penguin in a fight. I would definitely win. I did 3 years of JV soccer in high school. You don't think I could deliver a kick to a penguin that would make him wish his daddy never carried that pebble around for his mama? I would ruin a penguin. He's the exact colors of the ball that I am most familiar with. I would win. Plus, it'd be a cool story if I ever got to meet Batman, and I could say, I also got into it with a penguin and came out the better man. One of the many things we have in common, Bruce. And then the penguin lady, she holds up one gnarled, half-bitten off index finger and says, I'm serious, they bite really hard. Oh my God, a penguin bit your finger off? Are you kidding me? Now I'm terrified of penguins. Now I have a penguin phobia. I can never watch Happy Feet again. Morgan Freeman's voice makes me nervous. I also have unlimited respect for this woman who had her finger bitten off and kept going back to work. That's love of a career right there. That is love, that is passion, that is drive. I've been doing stand-up for 21 years, and I thought that I loved it. And I gotta tell you, every second I'm on stage telling jokes is a joy for me, and I feel like I tricked the universe that I've gotten to do this for most of my adult life. But tonight, if one of you ate some of me, I'd quit. I'd never do it again. I would be done. Why'd you quit? The crowds in Minneapolis are too hungry. That's why I quit. They bit my finger off, took it to the fair, deep fried it. They're selling it. People are washing it down with unlimited milk. It's disgusting. They asked me if I wanted to pet a penguin. I said, of course, I would love to pet a penguin. And they scooped one up, she put him in a headlock, and then she said, go ahead. That's not how I like to pet animals. I don't want to pet a penguin against its will. There's no joy in that. I don't want someone to pin him down and then I coochie-coo him. That's not how I do it. I don't want to be a reason the penguin's on a fake iceberg later today rocking back and forth. That man touched me. I'm going to bite his finger off if I ever see him again. I'm having a fun year. I'm having a really fun year. I got married this past February. Thank you very much. Married this past February. It is my second marriage. What's up, anybody? Yeah, second marriage. You should clap harder for second marriage. You don't know. Anybody else going around the block a second time? Any other second marriages out there? Yeah, one fella over here, 2, 3, 4. A few other people decided to double down on love like I did. Isn't it great? You love your second marriage? Second marriage is, if you ask me if I have to compare, second marriage by far, hands down, better than the first marriage. It's crazy, isn't it? I did a poll. It's unanimous. I don't know why everyone doesn't get second married. Everyone says it's better than their first marriage. I never found one person. She's wonderful. She's my new wife. She's so smart and funny and beautiful. To be honest with you, it's making me excited for what my third one's going to be like. Can you even imagine? How can I top this one? Spend some time with each other's families. I like to hang out with her family. I like to go to the in-laws. In-laws are fun. That's a no-pressure situation for me. I don't get stressed about visiting the in-laws, because in-laws come and go. Who knows? Every visit could be the last. She was stressed before our last visit. She was stressed. She said, there's a lot of drama happening in my family, and I need to give you a heads up so you don't feel uncomfortable. But my cousin had a baby, and my grandma wanted the baby to be named after my grandpa, who has passed away. But my cousin named her baby after a Harry Potter character. And so my grandma's not talking to my cousin. My 2 aunts are fighting over it. The whole family has chosen sides, and it's very uncomfortable. And the first time they're all going to be in a room together is when we sit down for dinner while we're visiting. And she's so stressed, but that doesn't bug me at all. That sounds exciting to me. I feel like I'm back behind the scenes at the zoo. This is where the action is going to take place. I sat down for that dinner. First thing I said was, so, Dumbledore, that's a cute name. Is that from the family? I just enjoyed the show. My family is stressed. I find my family stressful because, I love them so much, and they're getting older. I worry about them sometimes, and I try to help around the house whenever I visit. I was trying to do a simple thing. I just tried to load their dishwasher for them. Which you think I would be able to handle. I'm 44 years old. I loaded a dishwasher up too. You're meeting me for the first time. You don't even know about this. I don't mean to bring up my childhood trauma, but they used to make me load it against my will. I didn't even want to do it, and they forced me to do it. They held ice cream hostage. They wouldn't let me have it unless I loaded the dishwasher. Now I'm a grown man. I eat ice cream whenever I want. I'll leave here and get a pint if I feel like it. I walked by deep fried ice cream today. Didn't even bat an eye. I could have had it, decided not to. So I'm just doing it out of the goodness of my heart. And they won't go relax. They're supervising me. My dad was watching me load the dishwasher like I was defusing a nuclear warhead. The level of stress. Don't put a bowl there, son. That's how we lost your Uncle Ricky. What are you doing? Don't put a bowl in the top row and then the suds almost killed the whole family. I mean, he didn't say those exact words, but that's what his face was saying to me. The reality is my dad has some health problems, and he can't really talk as much as he used to talk. He doesn't have all the words that he used to have, but I will say, if you do put a bowl where he thinks the plates are supposed to go, some words find their way out. It's a miracle. It's an intense new method of therapy. I think we should get into it more. He talks to a speech therapist once a week. I think they could cancel it. Hire a guy to stop by with a handful of loose spoons, just toss them into the bottom of the dishwasher. I think he'll be talking plenty. It's gonna be all swears, but he'll be talking. It's been rough. I miss having heart-to-hearts with him. Now I know next time I feel like I really need to talk to my dad, I'm just gonna show up and I'm gonna start putting plates in without rinsing them off. We'll be having a talk. I go through something real tough, I'll throw that cast iron skillet in the dishwasher. I love being a wedding guest. It's fun to be a wedding guest. I like to give a memorable gift, too. I like to give a fun, memorable gift. The last wedding I went to, we gave a couple a sword. Pretty cool gift, right? Sword. You don't think so? It's memorable. You can't say it's not memorable. That's the thing. It's memorable. For sure. You ask my friend, what's your most memorable gift? 100% he's going to say sword. No doubt about it. I killed 3 intruders with it so far. Thank God I have it. Dragon broke in last month. I slew it. So here's the difficult thing about giving a sword as a gift, if you're thinking about it. It's sharp. So if you're not careful, it will unwrap itself. Don't jostle it. You gotta be careful. I knew I should put it in a box. I wanted to put it in a box, but I couldn't find a box that the sword would fit inside. So I ordered a box off of Amazon. But the box that I ordered came in a box. So I sent the box that I purchased back to Amazon, and I kept the box that my box came in. And it's maybe the smartest thing I've ever done in my entire life. I had a real moment where I thought, should I quit doing stand-up and just focus on this box scam from now on? Every moment, I'm not buying and selling boxes from Amazon, I'm losing money. And then I saw a story on the internet that Amazon had to lay off 10,000 employees. And I had a panic attack worrying, is it because of the box scam I've been running in my place? How many kids aren't gonna get to go to college because of the sick fort in my living room right now? It's been a fun year. It's been a real fun. I hosted a TV show. It's called Totally Funny Animals. It's on the CW. Anybody catch your episode yet? My friend that's here did. That's it. I get it. You never heard of it? Here it is. Here's what it is. It's exactly like America's Funniest Home Videos, except all the videos are animals. I'm the host, and no one's ever heard of it. Other than that, it's exactly the same. It was fun. It was fun to be the host of a TV show. I never thought I would do something like that in my life, and I got hired, I thought, because I'm a comedian, and comedians host those kind of shows. But what I wasn't prepared for was doing the voices of the animals during the clips. It wasn't even part of the audition. I barely knew I was gonna have to do that. And I'm at work, I'm at a new job. I'm excited to be there. And they're like, okay, we're gonna play the clip. You read what's on the teleprompter. That's the script. So I read it, and it's not this exactly, but it's something like this. It's like, hey, I'm a bear. I don't like birdseed. Right? Something like that. And the director goes, cut. No, read it like how a bear would read it. So I said, I'm a bear. I thought that a bear wouldn't be good at reading. That's the joke that I tried to do. It didn't work then. It barely works now. And he said, no, do a bear voice, you idiot. So I said, I'm a bear. I don't like birdseed. And he said, not a gay basset hound, a bear. What are you doing? Here's a little peek behind the curtain. I do 3 voices. I do a deep voice, I do a high voice, and I do a southern accent. That's it. Those are the 3 voices that I do. One time there was a clip, it had 4 animals in it. I was like, we gotta get another guy. I can't do this. It's been a fun year. New cookie restaurant opened up in my neighborhood. I've been excited about that. New cookie restaurant. Some people call them bakeries, but I'm not pretentious. You know, I talk how I talk. They had a sign out front that said pina colada cookie. And I was excited. I love pina colada. You won't believe how much I love pina colada. And now they combined with cookies. I was about to get a dozen of them and try to go caught in the rain. I gotta try to say that again because I didn't say it clearly. Hold on a second. It's a new line for this joke that I thought of yesterday, and I'm recording this, and I want to make sure I say it right. You guys do you mind being on board if I just do a quick little pickup here? All right, now just act like I said it for the first time. Yeah. I was so excited. Pina colada, cookie, all together. I was going to get a dozen of them. Go try to get caught in the rain. Now you did too much. Now we got to edit it out. You made it seem better than it was. It's unnatural. You know. And so anyway, I ordered the pina colada cookie, and they said, we no longer have that. That was yesterday's cookie of the day. And I said, well, you got a sign out front that leads me to believe otherwise. So I suggest you pop in the back, fire up the blenders, and whip me up some pina colada cookies, unless you want to be the subject of a gotcha Netflix documentary on false advertising. Do you have any idea who you're talking to right now? I'm the host of Totally Funny Animals on the CW. The power that I have, I could bring this place down to the ground. I could do negative Yelp reviews in 3 different wacky voices. You're in trouble. But they refuse. They refuse to make me a pina colada cookie. They say, would you like to know today's cookie of the day? And I said, no, thank you. I'll just read the sign when I walk by tomorrow. What kind of a business is this? I'm a big dog guy. I got a dog. I love my dog. She's the best. I love her so much. She's a golden retriever. She's sweetie. I take her to the dentist. I take her to a dog dentist, which I'm ashamed of. Yeah, what? That's a normal response. A lot of people didn't even know dog dentists exist. But I take her every 6 months. She goes to a dog dentist. She's been more to the dentist in the last 2 years than I went in all of my 20s. It's stupid. I admit, I think it's probably a scam. Do you think it's a scam? I think it's probably a scam. I think the headgear is overkill. She never wants to wear it. It's so frustrating. She does need the night guard, though. She grinds. You see her. You see her grind. Last time I take her in, they say to me, they say, hey, we got to let you know, we raised our price, $25. And I was furious, because it was the day of the appointment. You can't raise the price on the day of the appointment. That's not fair. You got to tell me in the next one. I was going to storm out of there, but picture day was the following day. I mean, what are you going to do? So we went through with it, and then I'm in the back, and they come to tell me about the cleaning, and they said, we have an important question to ask you. What is your oral hygiene routine like at home with your dog? And I said, thank you for asking. That is an important question. I was in Minneapolis recently, and everyone thought this was a made-up job, so we do need to talk about it more publicly. And I'm not acting like a hero. I'm not trying to act like I'm the greatest dog owner of all time. But what I do for our oral hygiene routine at home is I bring her here once every 6 months. And it wasn't enough. They said, you got to brush at home. You got to brush your teeth at home. Because if you brush your teeth at home, she'll get used to having her teeth brushed. So when you bring her in, the cleanings will go a little more smoothly. And I said, oh no, was my dog difficult during her cleaning today? And they said, no, she was fine. But she was a little more difficult than the last time you brought her in, and we don't want it to get any worse than this. And I said, interesting. Would you say that she was $25 more difficult than the last time I brought her in? Because if that's the case, we're progressing at a good rate. I feel good about what happened here. We got a good dog on our hands. Let's get her a treat or something low sugar. She's not going to have another brush for 6 months. I found out my wife's been tracking me. Is anyone else being tracked? I found out I've been tracked. You get tracked too? Yeah, both of you tracking each other. I found out. Here's how I found out. I was just sitting in the parking lot looking at my phone, and my wife called me, and she goes, hey, are you sitting in the parking lot looking at your phone? I'm like, what? No. She goes, I can tell that you are because I'm tracking you on your phone. And if I would have been a younger man, if I was in my 20s or 30s and someone I was with tracked me, I would have been furious. I would have been screaming. I would have been like, you're disrespectful. You don't trust me. What's wrong with you? Why do you think you have to track me? You don't deserve to know where I am every second of every day. But I'm 44 now. I got high blood pressure. I got high cholesterol. Yeah, check on me from time to time. Check in. She saw my drive home from my friend's house and then sit in the parking lot for 20 minutes. You maybe should have called an ambulance. That's a red flag is what that is. She's wonderful. She's so great to live with. One of the things that's great about living with her is she's cleaner than I am. She's cleaner than me. And in my past relationships, I was the clean one, which sucks. It's so much better being the dirty one. And they're like, it's so much better. If you are the clean one in your relationship, consider ending things and finding someone just a little bit more clean than you. I can't tell you how nice it feels to stop picking up someone else's mess and have someone start picking up your mess. It's amazing. And all I'm talking about is just you got to find someone with a little bit higher threshold for cleaning than you. So for me, I clean the apartment at this level. This is when I start to clean. This level, that's when I clean. But she starts to clean way down here. She cleans way down here. So, the place is clean before we reach. We've never approached my level before it doesn't get there. There's been times where she said, we gotta clean up, and I'll look around and I'll go, this is the nicest place I've ever seen. I don't know what we're gonna do. And you gotta have good communication skills when you're not on the same page with that. You gotta have good communication. There's plenty of times where she's asked me to clean something, and what I wanted to say was, why would I clean something that's not dirty? It doesn't make sense. But I just do it. I do it. I try to be a good partner, so I just do it. She asked me to dust a shelf one time. I dusted it, and then afterwards, the rag wasn't dusty. What did I even do? Was I creating an alibi for you at this time or something? Please stopping by tomorrow. Where were you at 6? I was dusting that clean shelf. I'll never forget it. There was a clock on it. Am I trying to intimidate the dust that's still in the air? You better not come down here, dust. I swear, everything down here is covered in lemon. I dare you to come down here. I'm not against dusting. I dust. I just dust different level. Here's when I dust. You ever turn off your ceiling fan and then you look at it and you think, ooh, it doesn't just fling that around the room all day, does it? You know what? Turn it back on. I can't even look at it right now. Clean like a week after that. That's when I dust. We got a sofa in our home. The sofa, we lived together 3, maybe 4 years now, and we've taken all the covers off of the cushions, washed them, put them back on the sofa, maybe 14 times. Do you want to guess how many times I did that while I was living alone with that sofa? 0, I heard a never. Those are both good guesses. But the correct answer is I did not know the covers came off of the cushions of the sofa. I thought if you spilled, you flip the cushion over and you have one more shot. That's how I thought it worked. You cycle through. You run out of clean sides, you gotta buy new furniture. That's just being part of a grown-up. Part of being a grown-up. Wow, those are dumb things. People come over to my place, you mind if I eat in the living room? Of course you can. You just gotta sit on the 3rd cushion from the left. That's the eating cushion. Be careful. She thinks I'm too loud. That's a complaint that she has about me. She thinks I slam every door that I close. And every time she says you slam the door, what I wanna say is, you think that was slamming the door? I'm gonna show you slamming the door. But I don't do that, because I know I have more knowledge. I'm older, I'm calmer. I know that's not how you win a disagreement, with aggression. That only gets aggression back. You have to be smarter than that if you want to win an argument. You have to use different techniques. I've found gaslighting to be fairly effective. I started saying that she closes doors too quietly. That's what I'm doing now. I'm just walking around. Why you close the door too softly? It's freaking people out. You look like you're sneaking out of your parents' house to get drunk in the woods. What's going on with you right now? This happened before we had even moved in together, but I went over to her place, and I went in, and she goes, you slammed the door. And I said, you couldn't be more wrong. I didn't even touch your door. I don't know if you've noticed, but your door has this contraption on the top of it that causes it to close automatically behind busy men and women such as myself that don't have time to reach back and close the door. This right here is American door technology, and I'm not one that's going to stand in the way of it. If you have a problem with how hard your door closed, you better take it up with America's Door Engineer Union or something. I thought I was making some good points, and then there was a knock at the door, and it was her neighbor. And he said, excuse me, but I would appreciate it if you didn't slam the door over here. And never in my life have I slammed a door harder than I slammed it in that guy's face. Are you kidding me? You came over to tell us to be quiet because the door closed hard once? That is insane behavior to me. I've lived in apartments for probably 25 years, and I've never told my neighbors to quiet down. It's crazy that you would do it for one door closing. I could hear someone shouting, stop choking me to death! And I would still be in my apartment just, I mind my business is what I do. I don't get involved in anything like that. I got 2 guesses what's going on next door, and I don't want to be a part of either one of them, I'll tell you that. Let's say it's a fight, and I go over there and I break up a fight. I'm not gonna also fix their relationship. They're gonna fight again. I say we let this play out, and it'll probably be quiet soon, one way or another. She's a little bit younger than me, too. My wife's a little bit younger than me, and it doesn't come up a lot, but we did this couples trip, and everyone was younger than me on the couples trip because it was her friends from college. And one of the days, the girls said, we planned a girly thing for this afternoon, so you boys are on your own. And the guys turned to me, and they said, all right, new bro, you ready to bro out with your bros, bro? Do you want to bro up? Because we about to bro down. So you want to start from a high elevation of bro to get to the place of bro where we're going to... Anyway, I was like, I'm going to see what the girl thing is before I make my decision on the day. But the guys wanted to mountain bike, which did sound fun to me, especially because they explained, because we were at a ski resort in the summer, you take the ski lift with the bikes, and then you just coast down the mountain. You don't even have to bike up the mountain. It just sounds awesome, doesn't it? We're going for a bike ride, and I don't have to do any cardio? That's what you're telling me right now? Pedaling has always been the thing that stopped me from riding bikes. You take that out of it, I might ride every day. I might take up Peloton classes. If there's coasting classes, I could get into that. I'll get my sexy little bike outfit on, and my neighbors will wake up to my instructor shouting at me through the window for a change. All right, Peloton coasters, are you ready to sit there and do nothing? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Don't move. You got this. Just sit there. We get to the top of the mountain, and I look down, and it's not a gentle coast as advertised. It's a terrifying trail. It's treacherous. I've never been on a bike ride where if you make one wrong turn, you'll die. But that's the kind of bike ride I was on that day. I looked over a cliff and thought to myself, I'm glad that I rented these knee pads. These are gonna pay off. This is a good investment. If I tumble off this 90-foot drop, my knees will be fine. They'll be able to have the bottom half of my casket open and all my loved ones can come by. Oh, he always had good knees. That's one thing we always said about Andy Woodhull. Beautiful knees. Perfectly symmetrical patellas. We should maybe chop them off, put them in a jar, ship them off to the Museum of Medical Oddities. That's how good these knees are. We're on this bike ride, and I'm 10 years older than the other guys. So I feel like I have to be the responsible one of the group. I feel like it's up to me to be responsible and keep everyone safe because they were riding recklessly. They were being reckless. So all day long, I'm saying stuff like, hey, buddy, your helmet's loose. Let me tighten that down for you, sport. Hey, you guys know what would be fun on the next time down the mountain if we stayed as a group? Wouldn't that be more fun if we were all together? You know how you went out really far ahead of me on the last one and left me alone in the wilderness in case I fell off my bike and hurt myself and there was no one there to help me? What if we stay as a group? Like, what if you waited until I caught up from time to time? Because I was slow. My technique for mountain biking was I squeezed the brakes as hard as I could. Fully engaged brakes. As hard as I could. Smoke was coming up from the brake pads. I'm squeezing them so tight. The only time I let go of the brakes is I got off and walked a couple times because I was so afraid to die. We stopped for lunch, and I'm complaining because my forearms are sore. I'm complaining my forearms are sore because of the death grip I've had on the handlebar all morning. And I'm telling other guys about how sore my forearms are. And one of these guys, he says to me, your forearms are tired because you're holding on too tight. You got to loosen up your grip, Andy. And I was like, well, first of all, call me Mr. Woodhull. From now on, show a little respect, young man. You think I should loosely hold on for dear life? That's your advice to me? That's not the way I'm programmed, son. She's a good person, my wife. She's such a good person. She was tested recently, and she came out on top. We got a spare key for our house. I'm not trying to brag about how affluent we are, but we have 3 keys. One of them we don't even use. Here's what we do with it. We hang it on a hook right inside our front door, which is exactly where you want your spare key to be hanging. I can't tell you how many times I locked myself out and was like, thank God, all I have to do is get a locksmith, pay him $75, and then I'll be able to get to that spare key. And the spare key is on a keychain that has a man dressed as a hot dog. That's the keychain, man dressed as a hot dog. My wife comes to me and she says, hey, have you seen the hot dog man? He's missing. As if the hot dog man came to me and was like, I gotta get out of town for a few days. Can you cover for me? Well, I say, I don't know where the hot dog man is, and then we live our lives. Life goes on. And a couple weeks later, I gotta say something. I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know, I think you lost the hot dog man. I told her, and she goes, it's so funny, because I'm positive that you lost the hot dog man. And it wasn't a big fight, but we had been living in different realities, because a lost spare key isn't like losing a sock. That's a traumatic thing to lose. You lose your spare key, and every noise you hear in the night, you think, is that a stranger and a hot dog man coming to kill us and take everything we own? Go get my sword. I'll protect us. And then a few days after that conversation, she comes into the living room and she goes, guess what? I found the hot dog man. He was in my fanny pack. And I just filled with love for her. I filled with love for her because she was willing to admit she was wrong. And it's such a difficult thing to do. And it's the most important thing to do in a relationship. Admit you're wrong. It validates your partner's feelings. And it also sets you up for the next time you're right. You can really rub it in. And she passed that test. And I'm worried that I might not be as good of a person. I'm worried if I would have found the hot dog man in my fanny pack, I might have thrown it in the trash. We might have never seen it again. I would either thrown it in the trash or I might have put it in her fanny pack. I would have done one of those two things. I try to be a good husband. Here's something I do. I tell her when she has something stuck in her teeth. I always tell her. Do you guys do that for each other? Yeah, everybody, you should do that for each other. If you don't, maybe you'll do it now after I tell you my technique. Because I always tell her, but I do it a little different. I always tell her when she has food stuck in her teeth, but I don't tell her until we disagree on something. Do you see how powerful that can be? That's the argument ender right there. When I see food, I become excited because I know I can say whatever dumb thing I want. And the moment she goes, you're wrong, and I'm going to explain why, that's when I say, you have spinach in your teeth, and it's over. The argument is over. There's no coming back from that. You can't be like, you really shouldn't have 4 glasses of milk. You shouldn't. I try to make it happen on purpose sometimes. Hey, sweetie, you want me to fix you breakfast this morning? What are you feeling like? Acai bowl, everything bagel, poppy seed muffin? I'd love to set you up. And the whole thing came and bit me on the ass, though, because a friend of mine recommended I go to a restaurant and I try this dish called Squid Ink fried rice. Rice that's been cooked in the ink of a squid. And I see some people looking at me like I'm disgusting. I want to emphasize my friend recommended it. That's why I tried it. It's not like I sought it out. I didn't watch a nature documentary and see a squid become frightened and then shoot black goo out of its hole and then think to myself, yum. I gotta get my hands on some of that black goo. That looks good. It's gonna be difficult to harvest, though. I'll say that. The squid are deep, and we gotta scare them. Here's what we do. We get some monsters. We'll put the monsters in scuba gear. We'll sink them to the bottom of the sea. They'll sneak up on the squid. Scare them. The squid will shoot that sweet goo out. We'll bring it up to the surface, and then we can put it on our rice in our restaurants. We'll call the whole operation Monsters Inc. Inc. It's a cute name. I think it'll catch on. Anyway, I go to the restaurant, I order the dish, and it turns out it's delicious. I love the squid ink fried rice. It's one of the best things I ate that year. It was so good. And then we went out to another bar, and we met friends. We had a wonderful evening on the town. And I got home, and we're getting ready for bed, and I noticed in the bathroom mirror that I have squid ink fried rice stuck in all of my teeth, all of them. Every single tooth has its own piece of squid ink fried rice. The parking lot was full, and there was rice circling, trying to find a space of its own. And it's all black, goo covered. I look like one of the Lord of the Rings orcs. That's how my mouth looked. I had so much food stuck in my teeth, I was surprised I was full. That's the level that I was at. And I start to get a little heated. I start to get a little upset because nobody said anything to me for a whole night. We've been out for hours. So I go out to the living room, my queen's sitting there on the sofa, and I confront her. I said, hey, why don't you give me a heads up that I look like I was about to guard the gates of Mordor? Why don't you tell me about that? And she said, there was so much in there, I didn't know where to begin. You ever have that? You ever have a loved one just give up on you throughout the course of the night? Just be like, I guess that's what he looks like now. He's older than me. I wipe him down after meals. I do the best I can. He has a good heart. My friends are funny still. They're making me laugh. I got one single friend that told me this story. It made me laugh so hard. He goes, I met a woman in the parking lot of the grocery store, and we're hitting it off. And then I see her again at the checkout line, and I was going to ask her on a date. But I decided not to, because I had a giant package of toilet paper in my cart, and I didn't want her to see it and think that I was suffering from a stomach emergency that would require me to use every roll of a giant pack of toilet paper. And you guys are already laughing. You see how dumb it is. This is a dumb story. It's dumb for multiple reasons. The first reason is I've had a disgusting stomach emergency before. Who else hasn't? I mean, I know you have. Your state celebrates disgusting stomach emergencies once a year by doing all you can eat, drink milk, and fried everything. Here's what I don't do when I have a disgusting stomach emergency. I don't drive to the grocery store, flirt with a stranger in the parking lot, pick out the rest of my groceries for the week, find the biggest package of toilet paper they sell, check out, get a receipt, and then drive home to deal with my disgusting stomach emergency. For me, a receipt doesn't come into it unless a receipt is the last piece of paper that I have in my home. That's level 1. Level 2 is, not too long ago, I did some dating in my 40s. And I don't pretend to know everything about women, far from it. But one thing I think I do understand is that women that are interested in dating a man that's in his 40s aren't going to see a giant package of toilet paper and think, ew, he has a disgusting stomach emergency. I think they would see me with that economy-sized package of toilet paper, and they would think, finally, a man that's planning for the future a little bit. Finally. I'm sick of going out with these young guys that are living roll to roll. That's no way to live. I have to yell out from another bathroom, "You're out of paper in here." And then he brings me Arby's napkins. No, thank you. That's not how I want to live. Arby's was how I got in this problem in the first place. I want a man with a little security. I want a man that can buy in bulk. He's got the money to buy in bulk, and he has the bathroom cupboard space to store 100 rolls. That's a keeper. I could see myself with that man. I believe in it so much. If I'm ever single again, next time, I'm not going to go back on dating apps. I'm not going to go back on dating apps. I'm just going to go from Costco to Costco. I'm going to fill up my cart with as much toilet paper as it'll hold, and I'm going to see who looks thirsty while I'm in line. That's my plan. The next time I'm single, I'm not swiping, I'm wiping. That's what I'm going to do. I don't always do the smartest things. Here's my worst thing about my most embarrassing thing is I am bad at directions. I'm bad at directions to a level that it might be a learning disability. I'm so bad at directions. I use the GPS everywhere. I don't know what I would do. I could be a mile away from my house and I would be lost. I get lost in parking lots on a regular basis. I'm so bad at, and I think the GPS is messing with us now. It takes us different routes. It's trying to keep me dependent on it. I remember a time before GPS. Remember when you had to learn how to get places? I struggled. I could only get to places if I started from my house. That's how I was. I would have to go home if I had a second location I had to get to. And there was this one time that I was in college and I bought a DVD rack. I wanted to display my DVDs in my apartment so that everyone would know what a cool guy I was. So I bought a DVD rack and I put it together and it was missing a piece. And I was furious because it was a pain to put together. So I didn't want to take it apart and take it back to Walmart. What I decided to do was the heist of the century. I decided to rob the Walmart. I was just going to go in. I was going to take the one piece I needed out of the box and get out of there. That was my plan. And I went to the Walmart, and I'm looking where the cameras are. I'm casing the joint. I've seen movies before. I'm checking the cameras. I'm checking the rotations of the security guards. I think I got it all down, but I'm worried I've checked it out for too long, and I now look suspicious, and there's probably a SWAT team ready to tackle me as I'm walking out of the Walmart. So I leave, and I go back home, and I decide to drive to the other Walmart. They're laid out almost exactly the same. I bet they have the same security protocols. So I go to the other Walmart. I steal the thing out of the box. I escape. Job well done. I put my DVD rack together and I live a life of bliss for like 5 years, proud of myself that I got away with that crime. And then I learned that there weren't two Walmarts. I knew 2 ways to get to the same Walmart. I bet I look so dumb to the people. And what if they did see me trying to steal? Oh, he's back again. You know what? Just let him take it. We can't deal with this guy right now. Imagine I'm in jail, I'm about to get out right now, and the new prisoners are like, what are you in for? And I go, I'm in for stealing a part for my DVD rack. And they're all like, what are DVDs? I post my jokes on TikTok to try to get new fans. It's a good thing to do if you're a comedian, but there's this phenomenon that's been going on TikTok where beautiful women will lip sync comedians' jokes. They lip sync it. And I think it's flattering anyone would listen to one of my jokes. I work hard on them. It's flattering if anyone would listen to it. It's very flattering if someone learns all the words so they can perform it themselves. The one drawback is recently I posted a video of a joke and I got maybe 350 views, and then a beautiful woman lip synced my joke and she got like 3.5 million views. And I do still find it flattering. It's just a little disheartening to know that the things that are holding me back from being incredibly successful are my face and body. That's so... Trying to work harder on the body. I went to the doctor. I hadn't been to the doctor in years. And the reason I hadn't been going is because I think if I don't know what's wrong with me, there's nothing wrong with me. That's the way I've been living. And I realize it's a stupid way to live your life. So I finally go to the doctor, and it's nothing like how I remember. When I was a kid, they barely even examine you. It's mostly paperwork. Have you been? It's mostly filling out forms. I'm at the doctor's office. They're trying to get me to snitch on my family members. I'm not telling you what's wrong with them. I barely want you to know what's wrong with me. Fill out all these forms. Then you go to another area, and a nurse came in, and she started asking me all the same questions that were on the form that I had just filled out, as if she was a prosecuting attorney trying to get me to flip on my story. I'm not saying anything. I better get my lawyer here before I answer more of your question. And then when the doctor finally came in, he said, "What's your name?" "What's my name? I wrote a novella in the waiting room. Why don't you look at the title page?" "What's my name?" Second question, "What's wrong with you today?" "No, I'm not giving away the answers to your tests. I took mine, now you take yours." That's not how I want to do this. Here's what I want to do. You examine me, and I'll let you know if my symptoms line up with your diagnosis. That's what I want to do. I finally told this guy my hip is sore. I have a very sore hip. And he started tapping his iPad. So frustrating. Don't tap your iPad, tap my hip. This is where the problem is. Too much screen time for these young doctors. That's what I say. I look what he was doing. He was Googling it. You catch a doctor at Google, what's wrong with you before? He's just on Google, looking it up. You don't know anything about medicine. You're Googling it. If you Google it, we're both going to be naked in someone's office tomorrow. That's how I ended up here today, was Google. He finally goes, "Hey, this is kind of a shot in the dark, but you haven't been mountain biking with 3 guys 10 years younger than yourself, have you?" I text messaged the wrong person. That's always a nightmare, isn't it? You know, you text message the wrong person. Here's what I did. My wife was having a tough day, and I knew about it, so I want to send her a sweet text to make her feel good. I sent her a text that was like, "Hey, I know you're having a tough one at work, and I just want you to know I'm waiting by the phone. I'm just sitting here waiting. I want to hear about every annoying thing that happened today. I want to hear about every coworker that disrespected you. I want to hear about all the times you worked on a project and people took credit for your work or didn't lift you up the way you deserve because you're keeping that place afloat all by yourself. I know that for a fact. You just call me and tell me every annoying thing because hearing the worst part of your day is usually the best part of my day." Yeah, I said some nonsense like that. And then I sent it to her. And then I look at my phone a while later, and I realize I didn't send it to her. I sent it to a text thread I'm on with 20 other stand-up comedians. I would have rather sent my mom a naked photo. I would have rather done that. At least that would have been over, right? She wouldn't have kept bringing it up. Maybe she wouldn't have printed it out, hung it on the wall, brought all her girlfriends over. "Look how much my boy's grown. We're all proud of him." It would be over. But now I get a call every day about 5 o'clock just from some idiot. Like, "Andy, I'm having a really tough day." I love talking to people after the show, too. If you want to say hi, please say hi. I love meeting new people, with the exception of one couple I met in the suburbs of Chicago. After a show, this couple said something to me that has haunted me to this day, and I apologize for even bringing it up right now. But They said to me that in the bed that they share as man and wife, they will sometimes, to keep things spicy, switch sides of the bed. I knocked the drink out of his hand and ran out of the room. Have you ever heard anything so disturbing in your life? Switch sides of the bed? You might as well throw the mattress out the window and sleep in the tub, you freaks. What do I want to wake up on her side of the bed for? In a cold sweat in the middle of the night? Oh no, why is there a woman on my left? What have I done? Why are there 4 half-drank glasses of water on my nightstand? What's that all about? I drink 1 glass, take it downstairs, clean it, bring it back up. That's how a normal person drinks water. 4 glasses makes it seem like 4 people are watching me sleep in shifts, and they're all nervous about each other's germs. What are all these tinctures and ointments for? It looks like I woke up in a 17th century apothecary. I don't understand. Why would I need a different lotion for my arms than for my legs? Isn't all my skin the same? Did someone Frankenstein me during the night? I'm terrified. And it's no better for her to wake up on my side of the bed, just at the bottom of that crevasse I've dug out of the middle of the mattress over the last several years. Just shouting out from the bottom, hello, hello, hello. Can anyone hear me up there? I'm so thirsty down here, please help. I haven't had a sip of water in over 20 minutes. I normally take sips in my sleep throughout the evening from 4 different glasses that each has either a different probiotic or essential mineral in it. It's the only way I can have the proper microbiome. They videotape me doing it and are going to submit it to a museum of medical oddities. Please help me. My arms are dry, but my legs are oily. If you can help me, please. I like to, yeah. I like to say when people look like celebrities. I think that's a fun game. You say someone that looks like a celebrity. Normal response to that is, I see what you're talking about, or I don't see what you're talking about. Those are the 2 acceptable responses. What my wife says is, I think you have face blindness. That's the level she goes to. Face blindness. You can't just say no. You got to be like, you have a psychological disorder that's probably brought on by some trauma from your past. Every time I say, oh, that looks like George Clooney, she immediately jumps to, we have to find out what happened to you. I saw a woman once, like, it looks like Reese Witherspoon. And she goes, oh my gosh, your face blindness is flaring up again. That looks nothing like Reese Witherspoon. Would you look again? Reese Witherspoon has much smaller breasts than that woman has. So I said, well, if you insist, I will look again. You know what, honey? You're right about that. I want to admit that I'm wrong. You're right. You're right on that. You got to feel good about that. You're right. Also, you've made this game a lot more fun, incorporating the rest. I've been concentrating on faces. I didn't know we could do whole bodies. Well, this is a whole lot more fun. I think I'm going to be better at it now. So one time she saw a guy that she thought looked like a celebrity. She pointed at him. She goes, look, that looks like Tony Hale over there. Who, if you don't know, Tony Hale is a comedic actor. He plays Buster in Arrested Development. He also is the assistant to the vice president on the show Veep. He's a very funny, talented comedic actor. And maybe many people have pointed out to me that I should change this joke to be about a more name-recognizable actor. Like, why are you killing the momentum of the joke by explaining who Tony Hale is so everyone can picture the joke in their minds? Well, I'll tell you why. I try to tell my jokes as 100% true as possible. And it was Tony Hale in the story, so I'm going to keep it as Tony Hale. And also, I sometimes will audition for things, and I usually lose out to handsome, memorable guys. So, as long as I'm the casting director of this joke, Tony Hale's the star of this joke. I won't change it. So she points at him and goes, looks like Tony Hale, and I'm going in no matter what. I don't even have to look at the guy. And off the bat, I'm like, Tony Hale has much larger breasts than that guy. You're the one that's face blind. What's wrong with you? What happened in your past to make you this way? And I text my friend that's sitting in front of him. Can you believe she thinks the guy behind you looks like Tony Hale? What happened? What's wrong with her? You know? And my buddy's wife reads my text out loud and says, who looks like Tony Hale? And then Tony Hale leans over his seat and says, Maybe it's me. What's up, guys? It was him. It was the actual Tony Hale. It was the guy. It was him. And I've never seen my wife so happy before. She leapt up out of her seat and started dancing. She was just victory dance immediately. You ever have that kind of joy where you can't stop yourself? She had a smile on her face. I had never seen that smile before. It was beautiful. And I had proposed about 3 months before the story happened. That smile didn't come out then. That's a little offensive. She was has singing. That's Tony Hale. I'm the best. Your face line. And that's when I said, hey, sweetheart, you have some spinach in your teeth. Thank you very much, guys. This has been a blast. Thank you very much.